Hello, my friends. Today we are going to be working on some more with Microsoft Excel. And I just want to go over a couple of things why we're doing this. Microsoft Excel is an extremely useful tool. It's going to allow you to organize all sorts of data. So data isn't just numbers. Numbers can be anything from dates to finances to even an employee ID or when they were last paid, anything like that. Data can also include the name or types of information that can correspond with that. So it's one of those things that data can be all sorts of information. Microsoft Excel will allow you to organize this into a beautiful process, and it can help you in a lot of different ways. So what I want us to do is the very first thing, what we're going to be doing is we're going to open up a brand new Microsoft book, a workbook, just a basic workbook. And so the very first thing that I want to do is just kind of recap a couple of things that we talked about last time. So the very first thing is whenever we're working on an assignment, we can see what kind of font it's going to come about in. We can see that this is Aptos Narrow with the size of 11. Anytime we're in a box, this is called a cell. It's got a specific location, right? If you think the game Battleship, the intersecting lines where it's at, um, this one is in D2. It's in the column of D, which goes up and down, and then in the row of 2, side to side or horizontal. And so if you think about row your boat, you would never want your boat to go up and down. You want it to be flat across. So again, so this is D2. It'll show you right there. So the very first thing what I want you to do, we're going to call this activity 2. It auto-corrected for me, which was so nice of it. Then I want you to make sure that you put in your name. You can type it your name, not my name. And of course, this is for my computer applications class. Please make sure that when you type in your information in the next cell, you're typing in the class period because this might be class period 1 or class period 4, but please make sure you put the corresponding class period. So far we filled out cell A1, cell A2. Now, the very next thing, what I want us to find is we are going to be looking over at cell B4. So we're going to find B4. What we're going to do is we are going to type in the top 10. Actually, I lied. What I want us to do is I want us to type it here. We're going to work on something else. We're going to go the top 10 most common pets in the United States. Okay, top 10. So at my house, we have dogs, we have a cat, we have a bearded dragon. Maybe at your house you have something else, right? We're going to bounce down to cell A7, so we're going to be in the column A, row 7. We're going to call it ranking. Now, I'm not giving you the rankings yet. There's a particular reason why, and that's okay. I'm going to teach you how you can organize this data by the numbers without giving you the rankings yet. But we want to fill out this information. We want to know what is the most popular. The next column is we need to know what the type of pet it is, right? It could be a dog, it could be a horse, it could be an axolotl. We're going to go from there. The numbers, NU stands for numbers, per millions, okay? Numbers per million. So this next one means we're going to be looking at this whenever we type in a number in this column, we're looking at it as though it means a million amount. Okay, so the very first one we're going to do is we're going to just type in birds, right? This could be a parakeet, this could be a parrot, this could be a cockatiel, any of those things. So the very first one, if I type in 6.1, this means 6.1 million birds in the United States as pets. Now the next one is cats. I do have a cat. Well, rather my daughter has a kitten. This one is a lot more popular. Unfortunately, we don't have luck with birds at our house, but we have had a lot more luck with cats. So there, in the United States, 46.5 million cats. And I don't know if you noticed this. When I typed in this data and I hit enter, it had jumped over to the next cell. Microsoft Excel says, hey, I notice a pattern here. I'm watching you, boo. It says, I'm going to keep going forward and I'm going to watch what you're doing and kind of follow along. Now, at my house, I have 2 of these. I have, oops, just kidding, 2 dogs. And in the United States, there's 65.1 million dogs for pets. And again, you can see how it bounces down to the next column. It's zigzagging across. Microsoft Excel is so good at looking at patterns. Now, the next one is really interesting. We're going to be looking at something. I like this one. It's going to be exotic pets. Now, it's okay if the information is going to disappear a little bit. Watch this. We're going to type in exotic pets. I'm going to type in some parentheses, tarantulas. Nope, that's not right. There we go, tarantulas. Okay, now while this information goes into this next component, I'm going to type in 0.5 into the next cell. You see how it disappeared? We're going to fix that later. It's okay. All right. So exotic pets could be tarantulas. Up here in the formula bar, you can see that. Tarantulas. It could be something else. Maybe it's a sugar glider. Or maybe it's a, I'm trying to think of another exotic pet. I guess maybe a camel. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay. All right. Another one could be ferrets. Okay. Ferrets. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the ferrets. They're actually part of like the skunk family. They're smelly. I used to raise them. Okay. Again, it's jumping around. Now the next one, okay, in this next cell, if you guys stop and look, you can see this is cell B13. We're going to type in freshwater fish. Now this is different than saltwater fish. Freshwater fish, that can be a goldfish or I'm trying to think of some other freshwater fish. It's been a hot minute. Um, but anything that does not require specialized alkaline or specialized saltwater levels. So I'm not very good with fish. A betta fish would be a freshwater fish. Okay, so in freshwater fish, we're gonna have 11.1 million fish. And again, it's zigzagging for us. Next one is horses. I've had lots of horses in my life. 2.2 million fish. Again, it's zigzagging for us. It's noticing that pattern. This is why I love Microsoft Excel. It's a smarty pants. Reptiles. We do have one of those. We have a beardy. There's about 6 million. I could do a 6.0, but that 0.0 might disappear. Watch. Oh, it did disappear. That's okay. We don't have to worry about that today. Now the next column, if I talked about freshwater fish, saltwater fish. And in the United States, we do 2.2 million saltwater fish. And finally, small mammals. Now this can include hamsters or guinea pigs, etc. Okay, I do want you to type out the hamsters, the guinea pigs, etc., just like mine. Now, in the next component, in the next cell, next to B17 and C17, we're going to type in 6.7. Now, I'm sure you noticed that these are actually alphabetical. If you didn't notice, that's okay. We're going to change a couple things. So the very first thing is I want to change the font. I don't appreciate the font right now, so I'm going to grab a random cell. And if you don't remember, I'm going to give you this reminder. I'm going to go all the way out to I-19. I'm going to click once with my mouse on the left-hand side. I'm going to drag up and over, and then I'm going to type in times, and I'm going to go to size 12. Times size 12. So again, I went to I-19, dragged it up and over with the one click, and then I can change it. Now, the very first thing I said, oh, I wanted to move this. I'm actually going to move my words right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, the top 10, the title of this assignment, even though this is activity 2, the title of this chart for this information, I'm going to bring over here. I don't want it up there. I want to bring this information. So this is in the cell E, like echo, 1. You have to make sure that even though the plus looking sign right here is filled out in white, we want to make sure that it's in the black and white and the style changes. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our cursor, we're going to bring it over right there. Now, if you remember how we did this last time, I'm going to give you a chance to kind of jump ahead, just see if you can use your memory. How would we, some of this information, wall them over to the next columns, how are we going to allow the columns to modify to the appropriate size? If we double click between column B and column C, again, you watch the changes of your cursor. We want it to look just like this one. So if you look between B and C where my cursor is, I'm going to double click on this. Okay. And again, between C and D, double click. Perfect. Okay. This is amazing. Now, I also do want this in bold because this is the name of the assignment. So I like to have this in bold. Uh-oh. Did you guys notice when I go from bolded to unbolded, it changes the size. So I'm going to do that one more time. Right here, I also want these to be in the center. So on my alignment, I want them centered. Now, one thing I want to show you guys is how do we organize this data from the most popular to the least popular? We entered in this information alphabetically. I'm going to show you how to do this. This is really exciting. I love doing this. I love sorting data. Okay, so the very first thing is, again, we're going to look at row 7. So we're going to go all the way across. This goes infinity across. So row 7, there's this button right here, and it's called Sort and Filter. Let me see if I can move my picture. Sort and Filter. We're going to click on this Sort and Filter, and we want to click on the Filter button. Now with this, what we can do is you can see that it gives these ones just in case. It's because there's blank data in there. We don't have to worry about that right now. But what we're going to do is we can, on the column of C where it says numbers per million, we're going to do the drop down button, and we're going to ask it to sort from the largest to the smallest, not the smallest to largest, largest to smallest. Bam. Now what it did is it grabbed the information that was here, birds, cats, dogs. When it sorts, it's going to also grab the data and it is going to select column B. And if I had anything in column A, it would grab all of that information and it's going to organize it for us so we don't have to drag and move around. Perfect. Now that I've done that, I can also go back to the sort and filter under editing. Again, you're on the home tab here, and you can go back and you can click on the filter one more time. Now that you've done that, you're going to go File, Save As. You're going to save it to your OneDrive. I'm going to save it as Birdwell, and I call this Pets. You save it as your name, last name as Pets, and I want you to upload this to Schoology. All right. So if you have any questions, please let me know. And after that, we're going to be working on organizing more data and determining what data might be applicable or outdated. So this is a quick way to be able to organize the data, look at what's applicable, how can we sort it, and the next one we're going to be able to do multiple columns of sorting and see how can we find something at a glance. All right, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you all later. And again, if you have any questions, just send me an email.